What up? What up? And let me go over here. Start this. And hold on. Let me go back. And five, four, three, two, one. And you good?
Yeah. I had some stuff going crazy here myself.
Okay. And okay, here we go. What up, guys? It's your boy from Bed-Stuy coming again. Don't fuck up the crime scene. Big time speakers, and we're gonna get it in. I got the homie on. I got him in the building. He's about to represent NYPD finest. But let's get a sponsor in real quick. We're going to talk about Metric One. Metric One. This will be a code enforcement, regulatory, database, and website. And the best person on the earth to teach this is Marcus Kellum, aka the Kellum Effect. You can always reach Marcus at metriconline.org. Metriconline.org. That's code enforcement, property maintenance, and housing inspection and regulatory. So if you need any as teaching, any stuff like that, code enforcement related, always call Marcus Kellum at metriconline.org. All right, that was our sponsor. Now let's get into it. He was on the show a long time ago. He was one of my first guests. He came on the show to bless me, and actually we was on scene. I think we was up in Michigan. I think it was, and
Yes, yeah.
he was episode number 18. Okay, now we up to episode 74. Okay, that's a lot in between, and we are kicking it. We getting it going, and I really appreciate you coming on, Adrian. Direct, Lieutenant Commander Adrian Ashby. What's up, bro? What's going on?
What's going on, man? I'm good. I'm just hanging in there.
All right. And today we got a topic. This is not the easy eights because you already did that. The topic is going to be cop versus suit. In other words, you've been a cop, you've been a field guide, now you management, and you wear a suit. And we want to talk about all that and in some and how you like it and what was the majoration and how did you go from it and what we need to learn about taking that next step, leaving the field and actually getting a desk job, or even if we want to. So tell me a little bit right now. You're the lieutenant commander over the Animal Cruelty Squad. I know your peeps. You send your peeps to my school, LETI. Give them a shout out. And I see you about once a year. We try to meet up and stuff like that and hang out. Bro, first of all, how's the job?
Job is good. This is my 25th year in. So I'm still going, still enjoying it, still enjoying what I do.
As far as the cases coming in rapidly, or they slowing down?
Oh, they coming in rapid. I mean, a lot of things. You know what it was is that during COVID, everything slowed down so slow. Everything basically came to a halt.
Mm-hmm.
Now everything's going back to normal. It just seems a little, it seems a lot heavier now because you're getting things coming in at a pace that you haven't seen in almost 3 years.
Right.
So it's coming in.
So my thing to you is for the upcomers, the people in the squads and the different trenches, how do they ascend for a leadership position or even just a supervisor position? Because I know it's different from fire department to police, animal control to code enforcement. What's the best advice or you can give to if somebody want to ascend to the next level and go from a beat officer or FTO and just want to be a supervisor, aka sergeant? What's your best advice on that?
Like for us, it's taking a test to move to that next step, to move to that sergeant step from a patrol officer. Some places appointment, some places is test. But that first step is probably one of the hardest steps you're ever going to take into a supervisory role, going from the worker to a supervisor. And it's usually difficult for people because some people find it hard to separate themselves from that worker role and realize that they are now in charge. You can't be friends with everybody, and you cannot make everyone happy. You have to understand that your goal is to get a job done. And I'm not saying be hard on your people because that's the worst thing you can do. You need to treat everyone that works for you as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
You need to get to know the people that work for you, understanding their strengths and weaknesses. This is the first step a lot of people need to figure out how to get past, knowing who works for you. Everyone is not going to be happy with you. Everyone is not going to like every decision you make, but that's okay. That's part of being a supervisor.
I like that. I had big time struggles, and some of my listeners know when I came over, because I was in the field for a very long time. Then I went to the cruelty unit, and then I stepped out of there and I became a supervisor. And it was extremely difficult for me because I was used to my team. I used to just, give me the ball, get out the way, let me go be Jordan or Kobe. You know what I'm saying? And you have to include everybody and worry about. And the biggest thing for me, one of my sergeant told me, I have to get to know my people. So, Adrian, you saying that speaks volumes because I was like, okay, for instance, I was like, you call in sick. This is me before. I didn't really care why. You sick. All right, cool. But if they want to expound on why, you got to listen. Now, does it really make a difference? To them, it does. To you, maybe not. But to them, it's like, I'm sick because of this reason or whatever. You might look at it as an excuse or whatever, but I'm like this. All right, cool. It's sick. I put you down, bounce. But I had to really understand my people and what they go through because say somebody has a kid, say they have to, after school or whatever like that, you might have to, do their schedule over or try to help them out. So I had to really like fall back and kind of listen. What about you?
No, and believe it or not, one of the best ways to figure out if someone's trying to scam is knowing them. Like if you know what's going on with your people, knowing your people, knowing what's going on. I'm not saying be involved in their lives, but have an understanding of what's going on outside as well as inside work. Um, if you know someone has a sick kid, understand that they have a sick kid. They may ask for that extra time off, but if you know they really have a sick kid, it's probably for their sick kid. You understand? Now, if you know someone doesn't have a sick kid, and every week they're like, "Oh, my kid is sick," all right, something's up there. You start looking to see what's going on, um, and don't be afraid to ask your workers if something's wrong. I think this is the biggest mistake that a lot of young supervisors do. If they see a change in their worker, they just get harder on them instead of stopping and saying, "Hey, let me talk to you. What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Is there something going on that's affecting your work?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is there something you need? Is there something at work that's bothering you? Because you can't fix a problem if you don't know what the problem is. And there's some problems you can't fix, but you can help the person through with some guidance, and that's part of being a leader and not just being a manager. And there's a big difference there. A manager is someone who can just give you your schedule and send you on your way. A leader may give you your schedule. If you have a problem, they'll sit there and do it with you and show you, "Hey, this is what you're doing wrong. Let me show you how it's done right." That's leadership.
And see, okay, let me chop in because that's one of my questions. I said, how do you or when do you choose to be a boss or a leader, and how do you go about that?
I'm not a fan of managers, so I've never chosen to be a manager because a manager is someone who wants to be by themselves. All right, if you're going to be a manager, you are a person by yourself. You're that guy in the office, maybe drawing up the schedules, crunch the numbers, and send them out. That's a manager. All right, he's not on the floor talking to the people, knowing what they do, looking for issues and helping fix those issues. Not telling people to do it, mind you. I said helping fix those issues because that's true leadership.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can sit there and say, like, I'm not one. Let's put it like this: I'm not one. If I need to talk to you, I'm not going to call you from an office over and say, "Hey, come over here." I'm going to get up and come to you
Mm-hmm.
because you're still. I see we're all people, right? And I think what people get lost in, a title is just a title. It does not change who you are. And I think once people grasp that me, you, we're all men, women, people. I may have a title, I may have a position. It doesn't change me. So I'm going to be me. I'm going to be that person. I'm going to walk over to you. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to help you when you need help. I'm going to be there if you have a question. Because I believe that's leadership.
You know,
Your people should not be scared to come in and talk to you or ask you if they have a problem. If they're scared to come in there and ask you for help, you're a manager. You're not a leader.
I appreciate that. Now I did have a few officers that were intimidated by me. I had to learn how to tone that down because the gravitas I would come around with, it's not so much that you're an asshole, you're a hole, and stuff like that. It's like, you know, do your job, not so much make me proud. Do your job to the best of your ability. And if you have a problem, let me know. Don't let me find out. I'm huge on that. Okay. If we have a mistake, stuff like that, let me know, because if I have to find out, not good for me. All right. Because then I'm going to be like, not good for you. But I'm like, like, what's up? And as long as we have open communication and dialogue, I think, and again, I'm not the pompous prick that I was once, because I learned how to talk to people. It took a while. Adrian, it took a minute. You know what I'm saying? What about you?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I before I became a cop, I was in a supervisory position,
Mm-hmm.
so maybe I had a little bit of head start when I worked at the bank doing. I was a supervisor doing fraud investigations at a bank.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to that, I was a supervisor in another part of the bank. So I had already been a supervisor when I became a cop. I was one of the youngest supervisors in the bank. I was here. I was 20 something years old, telling 40 and 50-year-old people what to do, and that in itself was a learning experience,
Mm-hmm.
because when you realize the age and respect go hand in hand. All right, just because you are a higher authority of someone older than you,
Mm-hmm.
they still expect a certain amount of respect because of the age difference. I had to learn that and learn to navigate that. I think that helped me going forward also, because I learned to deal with different types of people. You know, older people, younger people, and there's a different way to talk to people. You know, to get something done from some people, you can't talk to everyone the same way.
True.
Everyone does not react the same way to the same stimuli. So you have to figure out what stimulates this person to do their job, what stimulates that person to do their job. Because even though we're all working together, we're all still individuals. You have to identify each individual and what that individual needs from you as a leader to inspire them and guide them to get that job done to the best of their ability.
I didn't know how to inspire. I knew how to go, do, dominate, and not so much, like put the chest out and everything, but you make a good collar. You feeling it. You like, okay, okay, okay. And you and your boys and everything, you king of the walk that day, you cock of the block that day. You're like, okay. But at the same time, I had to give a lot of praise, and I had to learn how to do this. A lot of praise to the troops who actually go out there and do the lay work before me, because sometimes I would come in as an investigator after them, and then when I was a supervisor, I have to watch them and make sure they're doing everything okay. So it took me a while to say, like, okay, let me slow it down and back up. And then, because I'm a trainer, it was easy for me to coach them up. I rather always coach you up than write you up, and I rather do my best to get you right before firing you, because it's cheaper for me and it's better for you to coach you up than fire you and replace you. It's a long time. You know what I'm saying? What you think?
That is true. And I'll tell you what gets a lot of young supervisors in that situation. They don't address this problem right away.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see someone making a mistake, they're coming late every day. You can't wait a month later to say, "All right, I got to talk to you."
Mm-hmm.
No, 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 no. That's where you get into a problem, because now that problem which you probably could address day one becomes a norm for that person. All right. Now you're on the verge of firing this person, because by the time you tell them, they're looking at you like, "Well, it wasn't a problem last month. Why is it a problem now?" So a lot of young supervisors are scared to address problems when they initially see them, and it festers and then it becomes an issue later, and then it becomes, well, you never said nothing, you let it go. Now you get to the point where you're like, oh, now I got to fire this person. What am I going to do? Where the day they came in late, even if you didn't say day one, day two, come in. Let me talk to you. Is there a problem? Why are you coming in late?
You,
Right?
I'm huge on tardiness. Huge. I think it's a reflection of their
You
character.
want to use date as a simple one, but it could be anything. Doing paperwork wrong.
Oh
Someone
no,
does paperwork
well,
wrong the first day, you got to address it that day. Say, hey, this is wrong.
wait,
Let's
okay, so let's go with paperwork. I'm an SOP guy and I'm a trainer, and the communication that I give to everybody, somebody else might be like, I don't get it, and For me, I'll take my time. Adrian, I'll take my time. I say, okay, what's up? What you don't get? I won't embarrass them. I won't trip, something like that. I say, okay, what you don't get? Okay. And then I'm like this, okay, how? Then I have to come up, well, what's the best way for me to show them so they can get it? And I might use an analogy. I might write something out, stuff like that. I just work with them. I was like, okay. And they go like this. I said, and then I want them to explain it back to me. So I'm like, you good? Got it. You got it? We good. All right. And even then, I'm going to give them some leeway in case they mess up and they get it wrong like that. I'm okay. I'm like now, oh man, I don't even crack the whip like I used to. Before, oh my God. Oh, Adrian, I'd be like, they'd be like, God damn, like Django. But I do my best. I do my best to come out there and be the teacher in the class. And I like in service. I like to correct a lot of things in service, but I like to, like you said, when you see something, you say something, you do something, pull them to the side. Don't embarrass them. Pull them to the side. Say, hey, yada yada yada. Because I learned you praise outwardly, you discipline inwardly. You know what I'm saying?
And you hit it on the head. A leader is a teacher. Your goal, your job is to teach and guide the people that work for you. All right, not do, and not do. All right, Kevin, not do. No, you want to do. So you're one of those guys. They got to learn that you got to teach early. You got to learn to delegate.
So
give that job to somebody else. Give responsibility to the people that work for you.
So it took me about, this is back in the day, it took me about a year and a half to understand how to delegate and how to manage. I'm seriously, it took me.
No, I know you. I was like, I can see you not want to delegate nothing. You just want to get it done.
Well,
just do it. Just go.
Bruh, I'm like this, chop. But I have learned, Agent, I have learned. Okay, what are we doing? Because I had to work hoarding cases or big, a large scale. When you have to delegate. Okay, so you be over a certain group and they be over certain groups, and then you make sure you hold your people accountable, and they hold their people accountable. It's an easy system, but the thing is you have to build up this trust, and trusting is hard because mistakes and all types of shit happens. So I'm like, okay, and I'm not a control freak. I learned that. Okay, I was married. Woo. I am not a control freak. I'm like, I'm not OCD, slightly, little bit of that, but I'm like, okay, I don't mind giving somebody the reins as long as they understand what to do. And I'm like that, I hands off. I'm like, you good? I'm out. It took a few years. What about you?
I catch myself sometimes doing things not a well, yeah. Sometimes I'm a bit of a control freak. I'm not gonna lie. Like I like things done a certain way, but I catch myself. It's to the point where I've been, I guess, leading so long now. I mean, I've been supervisor before I became a cop. My first promotion to sergeant was in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, then I've been promoted again 1, 2, 3 times. I've been supervisor now in the police department for a long time. And yes, I had to learn, and I still, to this day, have to remind myself, all right, let them do the job. But what I started doing to appease myself, this sounds crazy, I'd give them something to do. I'd go to my office and I'd do it myself. Mm-hmm. Not to question what they're doing, but to check what they're doing. Because then I'd go back out and they'd do it, and I was like, yeah, you're missing something. But then I'd walk them through the way to find it. And it got to the point where my guys actually knew. Really? I'd be like, yeah, that's wrong. They look at me and say, yeah, you did it already, didn't you? I'm like, just show you how to do it. Like, they knew me so well. They were like, yeah, we know you did it already. Just show me what you got. And it became a joke in my office. But I would always show them how to do it, how to get what I got. Like, I wouldn't just say, nah, you're wrong. Because they're not wrong. They just didn't do it a certain way. So I just show them the way instead of saying they're wrong. But I had that kind of relationship with my guys. I still do. So I have to, myself, I know I have that problem of wanting to do things myself. Mm-hmm. I fight myself. It's one of my own internal battles of letting people do other work, because then I know sometimes I'm gonna have to fix it anyway, but I know I have to let it go.
You know, the one thing, like in service, and you've been to class with me. The one thing I like to do is because most adult learners are visual, auditory a little bit, but they're mostly visual. So I love PowerPoints, I love videos, and I like the Monday morning quarterback. And let's go through it. We'll watch it 2 times, and then we'll put it out there, and we say, okay, what happened, and why did they do this? Somebody, and I'm a big pointer. I'm like, hey, you in the back, what the fuck, what happened? And then they're like this, okay, blase, 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 blase. I said, and somebody say, and ha, hold up, let them finish. And after that, we have somebody else. I like a good discord on how to go through procedures, and if they went through procedures and did they come up with the same facts. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's not going to see the crime scene the same, but you at least should be following the rules to see the fucking evidence. You feel me? You should at least be like, okay, this A and B equals C. I don't need you jumping to HIJ. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I'm like, okay, well, why did you do this, and why did you skip over this, and when did you see that, and why did you do that? So I want them to see it. I always play the video twice. Okay, the first time they see it. Second time, okay, it slows down for them. And after that, they like this. And then I put a picture up, a still picture up. I'm like, now go to a slideshow. So what you think? So what you think? So what you think? And I let them like this. Oh, and sometimes, the big bubble around their head comes open. What you think?
That's nice. I mean, like I said, I agree with you, especially when it comes to adult learning, because I do the training for the police department. I do the rookies, the recruits in the academy. I do the in-service training. I've done outside training, and you're right. Adults are visual learners. I get more of more interaction when I show videos than if I sit there and just talk.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or words. Yeah. And what you're doing is you're basically reinforcing.
Right.
Over again, and that's probably one of the best ways to teach. So that sounds good. I don't have that sometimes, because I usually have these people for a day, a couple hours. That's it, out of 6 months of training. I get for an hour. Actually, no, sorry, not an hour. Hour and a half, 2 hours. For the Saturday training, I'm there for an hour, but I made that a whole day training, which is not just me, with other people. So again, and I purposely, there's a lot of repetition in my all day training, and people realize it after the fact, but it's on purpose. Like you said, it's, hey, you heard it once, you're gonna hear it again,
right?
You're gonna hear it again,
right?
Maybe by the end of the day, it will stick in your head,
right?
That's skill. But one thing I gotta say, I just want to throw in there a little. It's not off topic, but I would say I read John Maxwell. He has a couple of books on leadership.
Okay.
I would encourage anyone looking to move up to that next level to maybe take a look at some of his books. If you are like a first-time leader, you just didn't start it, the book, the 5 Levels of Leadership. It's a good book because it has some surveys in there that you can take, and it basically kind of give you an idea of what type of leader you are, what level you're on. And it maybe give you a guide of what you need to do to get to that next level of leadership. And another one I really like was the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And first when I read it, I was like, oh wow, this is deep. And you see where your shortcomings are, and you see where you excel, and it explains, you don't have to have all this, but you want to get someone on your team that can fill in the gaps. So John C. Maxwell, definitely a good read for any aspiring leader or any leader, no matter what level you're on or how long you've been a leader. I think it's always good reads.
I appreciate that. I will repeat those again. John C. Maxwell for leadership. You guys need to check it out. 5 Levels of Leadership and 21 Laws of Leadership. I need to check those out. And I'm getting a lot of knowledge from my homie. This is the homie, Lieutenant Commander Adrian Ashby, NYPD for several years, 25 years, and he's over the Animal Cruelty Investigation Squad. I know his squad very well. I saw it at Charlie's retirement. I saw a lot of the squad, and the old heads, And we always keep in touch. We like family, stuff like that, distant cousins. We might fight sometime, but we know we family. The thing is, going into how do you keep morale up? How do you keep morale with your troops?
That is tough. I did one of the basic. What's crazy? One of the basic things to keep morale up is people placement. Sounds crazy.
Okay.
People placement. Like I have a small office, right? Every time I get someone new, I interview them. I try to gauge their personality, and I try to figure out where would be a good place to place this person. What personalities are they going to work with sitting next to? And I think this is something that's overlooked a lot in business and in certain management does not look at this enough, because you're putting someone to sit next to someone for 8 hours for the most part, right? Are those personalities going to clash? Because if you put two people with two personalities that are going to clash, you're now going to have two miserable people.
True.
And it's so basic and it's overlooked because they're like, the work. But people work better when they're happier. All right? So that's one of the little things I do is when I interview somebody, I talk to them, I gauge their personality. And since I know the personalities of people in my office, I'm like, where am I going to have this person sit? If I put them there, this is probably not going to work. So let me put them there. Let me move this around. To me, it's like pieces on that chessboard. You need everything to flow. So that's one of the small things you can do. And you've met the guys in my office, the old ones. You're going to meet some of the new ones eventually. And you know their personalities. And there was a reason some people always were next to each other. And you can tell who was always next to each other because you met them. And they were together for a reason because they vibed. I know I would get the work done out there. When they need to go out to do something, I wanted someone next to them they could look over and say, hey, you want to go out with me? And they were comfortable asking that person to go. So I know the job is going to get done because this is what, if I put them next to somebody who they don't want to go out with, you know what they're not going to do? They're not going to go out.
Yeah.
Right? So I need to create a cohesive bond between the workers also. Doesn't mean they all didn't work together. They just all couldn't be together 8 hours a day smoothly, and I just needed comfort. That was my base. Create comfort just walking in the door. All right? And believe it or not, that actually raised morale because people were happy sitting next to them. They came in, they were smiling. They were happy to come to work. Just give them that little bit of happiness. Come to work. Say, hey, happy to see the person next to them. That was step one in just building the morale. Another thing is, like I said, knowing your people, right? Understanding what's going on with them, being there for them, working with them, teaching them, but being firm with them. People really think people don't want bosses that are not firm. Yes, sometimes you got to be firm, but you have to be fair. Being fair is another thing that raises morale. Everyone is on the same level. Just because I like you more doesn't mean you're going to get away with more because we're all doing the same job. Being fair is being fair, not letting anyone be taken advantage of. Because if I saw something like, yeah, that's not fair, that's not happening, I would cut it. And the person who was trying to get over may not like it, but everyone else sees that, oh, wow, he's not going to let anybody get screwed.
So
that is morale.
So, the thing I had, and I said this on a few episodes back, I forgot when, people always say I played favorites. Right, and matter of fact, my sergeant brought me in. He said, "Yo, man, you playing a lot of favorites, stuff like that." And this is how I defended it. I might be wrong here, right? But this is how I defended it. I said, "Well, okay, say you have a team, right? Basketball team, 12 people on the team. There's 5 starters, right? And everybody's bench player." I said, the better people get what? More minutes. They get to start, and say as a professional, they get more money, right? Because they're what? Better. So how do I treat the rest of the team? I treat them fair because they're on the team. But my players that do more get more. Now, how do you reconcile that? And I might be wrong in that, okay? I might be wrong. But if I have superstars that are ascending and doing stuff, matter of fact, they come in there, What's up, coach? I got this, and they're out. They self-starters, they initiate. You don't have to do nothing for them. And I was taught this by NYPD guy a long time ago. We teach to 60%. 20%, they're self-motivated, they sit ahead of the class. You don't even have to worry about them. 60%, you got to motivate. Then there's 20% who lean back, don't want to be there. So my thing is this: if I got a team and my starters are like this, coach, I'm ready, and the rest of everybody sucks rhinoceros nuts, am I playing favorites? Everybody's fair. Everybody got to be on the team. Am I playing favorites? If I say, this person's this, I want to put them in school, stuff like this, I want to do like this. Am I paying favorites? Go ahead. I'm going to let you expound on that.
Oh no, you're right. No. See, there's a difference there. It's about being fair, and then you have your workers who earn certain things. All right. When I talk about being fair, I'm talking about basics. I'm talking about everybody got to show up on time. All right. Everybody got to do the same amount of. Let's say for us, it's like details. Everyone's got to do the same amount of details. You're on that same rotation. You're not getting over that. These are set things that you're not getting over no matter what.
Right.
Now, if you're my worker, and there's a training trip coming up, my worker's going to the training trip, right? It's not the guy who hasn't made an arrest in a year talking about, I want to go on that trip.
Fuck out of here.
You're not going to put it to use. But I will call him in my office and explain to him why he's not going. I would say, you haven't made an arrest in a year. They're using the knowledge you're getting. You're not. Why am I going to give you more knowledge? I was like, why don't you show me you willing to work with what you have, and then I'll get you some more. I have no problem telling you that. So, no, you're right. I'm going to treat the people who are working better, but there's a balance there. There's certain things that are going to be for everyone, and then you have those extras that are going to go to your workers, and I call it extras. When I say being fair, you're fair on the basics, the basic work. Everybody has to do the same thing. Everyone's on that same level. Now, when it comes to extras, maybe a little extra overtime, you're going to give that to your workers. All right?
True.
They're not going to get more days off, but they're going to make more money.
Simple.
Right? So it's a balance. It's not picking favorites.
Okay.
Because the goal is to inspire those people who are not working to work by seeing the extras the workers are getting. All right?
I tell you like this.
And that's what you got to do.
I tell you like this. It was difficult to learn how to motivate the bench players. We talking. It was difficult. Okay. And then you have to do a yearly eval and stuff like that, or your paperwork, all that nonsense, right? And I come in there and I'll see it, and I'll tell them, hey, and I'm one of those that I like stats. Okay. I want to see stats, so I have something to base your eval on. Now, it's always a 5 to 1, 1 to 5. Okay. 5 meaning you're great. 1 meaning you suck. 3s, you good to go. You meet standard. You meet requirements. So, I always encourage my people, hey, I don't need you to be bare minimum. I need you to be bare maximum. Okay. I need you to come up and handle business. When I call on you, put you in the game, I want you to take the shot. And some people didn't get that, but a lot. And this is matter of fact. Let's talk. Let's fucking talk. Is there an issue with your male officers versus your female officers, and do you see one sex outwork the other? Because I ain't gonna lie to you. As far as animal control, I've seen female officers outwork male officers 24/7, 24/7 in this genre, in this field.
I can't say the same. I see a balance. I mean, listen, I had Dennis, who probably would outwork anyone that you could put him against. Right? Anyone. Like, it didn't matter. Then I had, Tara. If she was into a case, you were not outworking her. Like, if she's into it, she was into it. Right now I got Mel. When she's inspired on something that really gets her attention, you can't get her off of it. So I think it comes down to personality. I don't think it has anything to do with sex.
Okay.
I think it comes down to that person's personality, their drive, their inspiration. There are a lot of women who are inspired in this field. The caring of animals. But there are a lot of men also. You're right. I do see more women who, like most of the rescuers I deal with are women.
Right.
Right. So overall in this field, I don't know if it's just that you just have when it comes to the animal advocacy and protection, you just have a larger pool of women.
Right.
Doesn't mean they're working harder because you can find that guy who's inspired who's going to come and do his thing also.
Right.
This is all about the drive. I don't think it has really anything to do with the sex of the person at all.
So see, the thing is like most vets coming out of school, female, predominantly. Most departments are ran now female, a lot in the kennel, somewhat in the field. There's still an old oligarch where you have some older guys, old school guys still there, but it depends on what area of the country. So I like your answer. Open door policy. What is that, and how you feel about that? Is your door always open, or does it ever close?
I have pretty much open door policy. As my door is always open. My office's door is always open. Guys come to my door. They walk in. They knock on the door. Can I come talk? Listen. I prefer them to come in and talk to me. I have no problem. I keep my door open for a reason because I want to invite people in. I do not sit behind a closed door in my office at all.
Mm-hmm.
My door is always open. As overall the open door policy, I want everyone to feel free to come in if they have a problem to come talk to me. If they have a question to come talk to me. I prefer you to ask me than to go do something wrong and then we're fixing a problem later. Let's talk about it before we get to it. I think most of my guys understand I have open door policy. I have an open door. I have an open phone. Like I said, I've been home and I'm on the phone all day, talking to my guys, giving guidance. Hey, do this. I'm going over rest yesterday for my couch. So I guess I would say I do have an open door policy. Open door, open phone. My guys I tell them reach out to me whenever you need to.
I like that because I always say when in doubt, reach out. So all my peeps, like, they get out there, they're like, yo, Hurst, soup, da 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 da. I'm like, okay, run it by me, slow mo, and then it's for me, it's explaining how to explain what they see. Now that can be a goddamn class, okay? I need you to visualize what you're saying. I need you to verbatim get it back to me so I understand what you're seeing. So I can give you what? Good information. You can paint the fucking picture. I can see the Picasso, and then after that we can go. You feel me? And then everybody's pretty good. It's when you have a brain fart, which I don't have problems with brain farts. Okay, if it's major, okay. But if it's something like a hiccup, I'm like, all right, no, we can talk or whatever. But when you're out there, okay, what you see, talk to me. Now, the one thing I'll tell you is, I'm key, and I think you're the same way. If I'm called to a scene to assist, not to take over, to assist, because as you said, I delegate. That's my job. I come over here and go like this, okay. And this is my question always when I get there. Okay, where are we at? Where are we at in the investigation? Because you shouldn't have been waiting on me. We need to be somewhere. Okay, where are we? How it's going? Who did you get statements? Did you get this? Where's the evidence? Where's the animal and the person? Whatever like that. Do I need to sign in? Do I need to step in the crime scene? You feel me? I'd rather not. You know what I'm saying? I'm re-talking. Go ahead, talk.
I get it. Trust me, I know. Exactly what you're saying. I mean, we do a lot of assisting. I actually encourage people to assist, call us to assist them because I prefer to assist them early than I get the phone call later talking about, hey, how do we fix this? So, like, I tell guys if they're doing a search warrant that involves animals, a search warrant, for any kind of crime that involves animals removal, call me. I'll walk you through who we got to call. I'll make sure all the proper resources are there. I'll make sure all our partner agencies are on point, in place, and I'll take care of all that for them. You just show up and you do what you got to do, and I'll make sure all the support you need is there. And I prefer to do that than get a phone call later. Oh, we have 8, 9 dogs. What are we going to do with them? Well, you know? Oh, 3 days ago. You should have called me 3 days ago. Because now it's trying to find someone to get there to help you out. So, I,
I'm big. I'm really big on resourcing. I'm big on networking. I'm huge on staging and talking before we get there. And if you're there already, okay, what do you see? Explain to me so then I know which resources to guide. You see what I'm saying? Because like code enforcement, and thing is like this. I think it's a win-win when we share information. I don't know why, and there's no like team firemen, team police. Now there is, but when we out there, I'm okay, what's protocol? Who's leading? What do you want us to do? Do you need to stop trap? You know what I'm saying? What do you want us to do so we can resolve the problem? As far as animals, it's like, okay, because depending on daylight, how much daylight do we have to see said animal? Are we inside? Do we have lights up? Are we going in? Do we have the warrant? Are we going to breach? Is there a person in there? How are they okay? Are they mental? You know what I'm saying? There's so many compartments. And you're like this, okay, do we need to talk them down? Do we need a negotiator? What do you need? You know what I'm saying? So when you say resources, I love it. What say you?
oh no, resources are good. Like I said, we do our own breaching. Most part, we, we are our own resource. When it comes to negotiators, uh, me and two of the other guys on my team are all crisis hostage negotiators. So most of the time, I talk at the door before I breach a door. I knock on the door and I say, "Hey, how you doing?" I open. I give them plenty of reasons to open up that door and explain to them, like, at the end of the day, I have a right to break your door. I'd prefer not to, because the cost is going to be on you, not going to be on me, because we're having this conversation. And I said, no matter what, I'm going to come in. Do you want to make it easy? I have a whole conversation. I explain to them beginning to end. If they want to see a copy of the warrant, I push it under their door. I use like those techniques, even like when you talk about breaching. And usually I can talk. Most people open up the door. We usually don't have to bang the door. If we're banging the door, it's probably 4 o'clock in the morning, and there's a reason we're banging that door. All right? Because I got a warrant where I'm going to knock, no one answers, I'm going through the door. That's different. But 90 of our warrants, I don't actually have to break a door. We talk our way into the house. But having that meeting prior, that TAC meeting, is so important. And making sure you have all of those resources there. Make sure you even have simple things as having enough cages. Do you have an idea how many animals you're taking out?
Right.
Do we have cages? Do we have transport? Do we have a vet in the scene? What do we expect to be in there? How many people? What's their past? What's their criminal history? What has happened at this house prior? Has there been any prior warrants? And if they were, what happened? What was recovered? Knowledge is power, and you got to do your due diligence to be prepared, especially when you're going through doors. We all see the news, and what happens when people go through doors incorrectly. When you're dealing with a situation with somebody in an apartment, I gotta say, thank goodness in New York, we have such a system where I don't think we've had an issue with hurting someone going in the warrant in a long time. A violent exchange going through a door in a very, very long time. And that's one of the reasons I say, like, I'll talk at the door for 20 minutes before I try to break that door.
So so I have a case where I think it's adjudicated, and I'm not gonna say any names, so I can tell you about the issue. So I was brought in, just as an observer, stuff like that, because I got a little experience like that. And somewhat, I don't want to say I took it over, but I ran point. And they had a subject that a veteran had some maybe PTSD, had some issues, and allegedly he chopped the dog up with a machete. Okay, for whatever reasons or whatever like that. So A, he's inside. B, we found the animal outside, dumped inside a dumpster, what have you. And then I said, okay. So then I'm like, and we had a few PD officers like that. I said, okay, what is the suspect like? Talk to me, blah, blah, blah. Again, I'm running point, but again, I understand the position, the paradigm. I'm like, okay, anybody here, because he's a former Marine, anybody here Marine? I said, hey, can you talk to him on Marine level to get some rapport, some discord going? And then I need him to open that door. And then we're not going to breach. We're going to just walk our way in and talk. And then we go from there. And he said, okay, 10-4. So it took him maybe 5-10 minutes. He cracked open the door, no exchange, stuff like that. Everything was good. And after that, show was on. I said, hey, blase, blase. I'm officer, blase, blase. We really need to talk about the possible incident that happened. It's better that we come in. Is it okay if I come in? And I put my hand through. He said, well, come on in. And we all went in. Okay. We sat down. There's a whole bunch of blood still on the floor. He didn't mop it up. He's walking around with his army jacket on. I'm sorry, his Class A uniform jacket on. And he's walking around, pacing back and forth. And I'm telling everybody, woosah, woosah. I'm telling everybody, woosah. Don't put the dot on him. We good. And I'm like, okay. I said, hey, what happened, man? Just tell me in your terms what happened. And then I preset him a little bit. I said, yeah, I know a little issue with the dog last night and everything. I don't know. And then I'm like, what happened? He said, man, and he just exploded with all this stuff. And I tell all my listeners, when a suspect is talking or a person of interest, when they're talking, what should you do? Shut the fuck up. Okay? Shut up and let them talk. All right? So we had a whole bunch of recordings going on like that. And he said, yeah, I did this. He said, first person, I did this. I did. I said, okay. Okay, so this is the person we took to talk to. All right, cool. And after that, he said, I said, hey, I was looking at the body and everything. It looked like it was a cleaver or some type of a chopping blade. He said, oh, that's my machete, man. He said, I'm a soldier, man. I ride for this. Yeah, I got this. You me show it to you? I said, no, just tell us where it is so we can go get it. He said, it was in the back room. A few officers went back there, found a machete, still had blood on it, like that, big old sucker. And the animal was like, a very smaller dog. And I'm like this, wow. And I said, so what happened? He told me about that. And we're sitting in a crime scene. We're sitting down in a crime scene. There's dry blood over here. There's blood on the tub. There's blood over here, so like that. And I got the body of the animal that he discarded outside. So I'm like this. This is a win-win. All you had to do sometime is slow it down, make the connection, like you said, talk to the person, and you get all the information. I digress. Go ahead.
Man, listen. That is a very interesting situation that we would never let happen. We would not be sitting in a location with someone who act a dog or animal in and letting them walk around freely in the place. To me, there's a lot of danger signs in there. When you walked in there, he's in his Class A uniforms.
Yeah.
You know what that usually means? He's ready to die.
Mm-hmm.
He's preparing himself for his funeral. If you know, the military guys, I've dealt with a lot, these suicidal people, and that right there is a sign. When he comes to that door, he's in his full Class A's, because you know what most military people are buried in, right?
We're Class A.
They're Class A's. To me, I'm looking at a